Overclockers, my name's Bryony and welcome to another episode of BIOS Update. In today's episode, I've got stories all about E3's 2023 replacement, Alan Wake 2, affordable graphics cards, some of the best games to play over the long weekend, and everything we know about Lord of the Rings Gollum. So let's get into it. Kicking off with the gaming chapter of this week's BIOS is all the dates and info you're going to need to experience this year's E3, or rather its replacement events, because E3 2023 has been cancelled. This would have been the first physical event in 3 years. However, the show was plagued with uncertainty as publishers failed to publicly commit to the show before that it was eventually cancelled on March 30th. However, there are still plenty of events in the summer schedule that are worth paying attention to. There's the Xbox and Bethesda conference, Ubisoft Forward, Summer Game Fest, and many more, with plenty of game reveal opportunities to look forward to. It all kicks off with Summer Game Fest on June the 8th at 8 PM. Expect trailers, gameplay and announcements from over 40 partners ranging from CG Product Red and PlayStation to Netflix and Disney. Later, the same evening, you can tune into Day of the Devs at 10 PM, which will showcase the best and brightest upcoming indie games around. On June 10th, this is followed up by another indie showcase, Wholesome Direct. Tune in at 5 PM for a packed showcase with over 70 titles. Around the same time, you can also watch the Future Games Show, also on June 10th at 6 PM. This digital showcase is filled with some of the most exciting upcoming games. The Xbox Game Showcase and Starfield Direct is happening on June 11th at 6 PM. We can expect some new surprises and first looks from Microsoft Studios, followed by new info on Starfield. If you only want to know what's up and coming on the PC platform, the PC Gaming Show from PC Gamer takes place on June 11th at 9 PM. Finally, Ubisoft Forward will take place on June 12th at 6 PM. It's expected that the showcase will at least include Assassin's Creed Mirage, but there are also a lot of other Ubisoft titles in development. Do let me know if there's any gaming event that's happening this summer that I've missed out, or let me know which one you're looking forward to the most in the comments below. Our second gaming story this week is that we might finally know when the highly anticipated Alan Wake 2 game will launch. Developer Remedy Entertainment has gone all out for this sequel, which has only grown more ambitious and unique over the 13 years since the first game. Alan Wake 2 is set to be one of the biggest horror games of the near future, and Alan Wake's voice actor, Matthew Peretta, did let slip in an interview that it will be coming out this October. "I've been working on Alan Wake 2, said Peretta. That's supposed to come out in October. We're in the middle of working on it now. The 2021 Game Awards trailer previously said that Alan Wake 2 will release sometime in 2023, and supposedly the development is going really well. Remedy said they are deep in production, have a lot of material, and a great deal of the game is currently playable. The team do want to make sure they are creating the best and first survival horror game for Remedy. Hopefully, with all those upcoming game showcases to look forward to, an Alan Wake 2 demo and new trailer will actually be featured amongst them somewhere. The game is going to launch on the Epic Games Store, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S sometime in October if those leaks are accurate. Kicking off the hardware chapter of the news this week is AMD's brand new budget GPU, the AMD RX 7600. Yes, that is the GPU, not to be confused with the CPU of the same name, although they would actually make a great pair if you're speccing up an affordable gaming PC. It replaces the RX 6600 and has more cores, 24/8 versus 1792, higher clocks, now up to 2.66 GHz, and it supports AV1 encoding. The RX 7600 is around 30% faster than 6600 in 1080p gaming, which is a solid generational uplift. Also, it's £259.99, which is £40 cheaper cheaper than the card it replaces, making it faster and cheaper at the cost of using slightly more power. If ray tracing is important to you, the RDNA 3 architecture offers a significant performance bump, and it has 8GB of VRAM over 128-bit memory interface. The only real competitor to this GPU right now is AMD's own RX 6600, 6650 XT, and 6700. These predecessors are on sale at very competitive prices, just £200, £240, and £350 at Overclockers UK. You could say that AMD hurt itself in its confusion, but this graphics card is definitely a great budget option. Moving on to our next hardware story this week, which is a reminder that Nvidia launched its new affordable entry into the RTX 40 lineup. The RTX 4060 Ti 8GB. If you watch the many tech review videos or apology videos, you'll likely know how this card performs. On average, across a large variety of games, it achieves around 10% higher FPS than its 3060 Ti predecessor, far from the largest generational leap we've seen recently. However, if you're looking for an affordable GPU, it does have its benefits. For one, it's affordable, it's £389. You'll easily be able to put together a great gaming PC with this card for under £1,000 and play all of the latest games with high graphics settings at 1080p resolution. The NVIDIA RTX 4060 Ti packs new 4th generation Tensor cores, which means it's able to support DLSS 3, which uses artificial intelligence to generate entire frames for its supported games, which results in a significant performance boost with minimal loss of quality. The 4060 Ti also features 3rd generation ray tracing cores, which have come a long way, and in supported games you're going to see realistic effects for shadows, reflections and light. Finally, it is super efficient with 160W TDP and a 550W power supply recommended. With energy bills skyrocketing, it's worth considering your power usage. This lower TDP also means it comes with a smaller cooler, ideal for compact builds where heat and space can be an important factor. Additionally, Nvidia has announced that a second 4060 Ti will launch in July, which has the same specs except for doubling the VRAM to 16GB and a $479 price tag. In addition, we'll also see the release of a standard RTX 4060 for just £289. We've got models from Asus, Gamewood, Gigabyte and Zotac, and many more on the Overclockers UK website if you're interested, and I'm going to make sure to drop a link to all of them below. Pew, 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 pew. Moving on to the blog chapter of BIOS this week, and I've picked out a couple of top stories from our content team. First up is the best FPS games to play this weekend, and with such a wide variety of genres, themes and styles, there's sure to be something that you can enjoy solo or with friends over the long bank holiday weekend. First up, CSGO. It's possibly one of the best known FPS games available to play today, and it does continue to break all-time player records. There are extensive maps to explore, 5 categories of weapons to master, and a huge variety of PvP game modes. Next, Borderlands 3. This 3rd installment in the original looter shooter series is chock full of crazy weaponry, explosive gameplay, and a fun-filled storyline. Borderlands 3 can be played solo or co-op, and you can play with anyone at any time online. Third on the list is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction, a co-op tactical FPS with 12 dynamic maps, 13 mission types, and over 10 different aliens to fight. It even supports crossplay, so you can still team up if your mates are on a different platform. Now, something for the VR gamers. Ghosts of Tabor launched into early access recently to a very warm welcome. This is the first VR-only FPS survival game, and it takes inspiration from DayZ and Escape from Tarkov. In a 1-hour raid, face other players, competitive AI, and difficult to defeat bosses that drop elite tier loot. The final game on our list is Destiny 2, an expansive MMO with responsive first-person shooter combat. There are 2 multiplayer modes, cooperative and competitive, both strong contenders for a weekend filled with multiplayer gaming. If you want to learn more about any of these different titles or find out what PC specs you're going to need to play, I'll drop a link to the full Overclockers blog post below. The next blog post story this week is everything we know about Lord of the Rings Gollum. Daedalic Entertainment revealed that the game is going to take place before the events of the Fellowship of the Ring, and it does follow Gollum's journey through the deepest corners of Middle-earth as he tries to get back the One Ring. You'll need to utilise Gollum's stealth, agility and intelligence to survive and overcome Middle-earth's darkest threats, all whilst facing the inner battle between the villainous influence of Gollum and the cautious nature of Smeagol, with many different options to choose sides along the way. The game is said to be inspired by the books rather than the movies, and it should provide a new perspective on the Lord of the Rings universe. At the time of filming, some early reviews were a tad mixed, and I'm sure it's soon going to unfold whether Gollum is a game worth playing for everyone or something you need to pick up on sale because it's more suited to die-hard fans of the series. If you want to learn more about the Lord of the Rings Gollum and our recommended PCs to play alongside specifications and much more, I'll drop a link to the full blog post below. Thanks for watching this week's episode of BIOS Update. Do make sure to go and check out those brand new graphics cards over on the Overclockers website. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button to catch our upcoming content, and I'll see you again in the next one.